Did you know that science says when we listen to stories, it helps our imagination grow even bigger? So, close your eyes, listen closely, and let your mind paint the pictures as we explore this magical tale together. Thomas stood frozen, his heart racing as the hooded figure stepped forward from the shadows of the second tree of wishes. The figure moved slowly, and as it approached, Thomas could make out more details. The cloak was made of dark, shimmering fabric, and the air around the figure seemed to ripple with a strange energy. Despite the fear rising in his chest, Thomas couldn't shake the feeling that he had been brought here for a reason. The figure stopped just a few steps away from Thomas, and then, with a voice that was both deep and soothing, it spoke. "You've traveled far, Thomas," the figure said. "But your journey is far from over. How do you know my name?" Thomas asked, his voice barely a whisper. The figure chuckled softly, pulling back its hood to reveal an elderly woman with piercing, yet kind eyes. Her hair was silver, and her face was lined with wisdom. "I am the guardian of the tree," she said, "and I know all who come seeking its magic." Thomas's mind raced. "But why am I here? I made my wish at the first tree, and I've been following my heart. What more is there?" The guardian's eyes softened. "You've shown great courage, Thomas, but the path of following your dreams is not always straightforward. Sometimes, we must face our greatest fears, the shadows that hold us back. This tree, it is different from the one you know. It tests the heart. If you are truly ready to follow your dreams, you must face what lies beneath the surface." Thomas took a deep breath. He had come this far, and though fear still gripped him, he couldn't turn back now. "What do I need to do?" he asked. The guardian extended her hand, and as she did, the ground around the tree began to glow with a soft, golden light. "Place your wish stone at the base of the tree," she instructed. "But be warned, once you do, the tree will reveal what lies deep within your heart. Only by facing your inner doubts and fears can you unlock the true power of your wish." Thomas reached into his pocket and pulled out the smooth stone he had been carrying since the first tree. It felt warm in his hand, a reminder of the courage he had found so far. Slowly, he stepped forward and placed the stone at the foot of the second tree of wishes. The moment the stone touched the earth, the tree's branches began to sway, even though there was no wind. The leaves rustled, and the ground beneath Thomas's feet trembled. Suddenly, the golden light surrounding the tree surged upwards, enveloping Thomas in a shimmering glow. And then, everything went dark. When Thomas opened his eyes, he was no longer standing in the plain. Instead, he found himself in a vast, endless forest. The trees towered above him, their branches thick and twisted, casting long shadows that seemed to stretch toward him. The air was heavy, and a strange, Eerie silence filled the space. Thomas's heart pounded. He was completely alone. "Where am I?" he whispered. A voice echoed through the forest, faint but familiar. It was his own voice, but it sounded distant, as if it was coming from deep within the woods. "You'll never be enough. You'll never make it." Thomas's breath caught in his throat. The voice, it was the same voice of doubt he had heard in his own head for years, the one that had kept him from following his dreams for so long. And now, here it was, echoing through the forest, growing louder with every word. "You'll fail. You're not strong enough. You don't have what it takes." The shadows around Thomas seemed to grow taller, darker, as the voice filled the air. His legs felt heavy, like they were rooted to the ground, and the fear he had kept buried deep inside began to rise to the surface. But then, amidst the darkness, a small, flickering light appeared in the distance. It was faint, barely visible, but it was there, a tiny spark of hope. Thomas knew what he had to do. With every ounce of strength he had, he forced himself to move toward the light. Each step felt like a battle, but he kept going, refusing to let the shadows pull him down. As he walked, the voice grew louder, more insistent. "Turn back, Thomas. It's safer in the village. You'll never succeed." But Thomas pressed on, focusing on the light ahead. Slowly, the trees began to thin, and the shadows receded. The light grew brighter, and soon, Thomas found himself standing at the edge of the forest, the dark trees behind him. In front of him was the second tree of wishes, glowing brightly once more. The guardian stood beside it, her eyes full of pride. "You've done well, Thomas," she said. "You've faced your fears, the doubts that have held you back. Now, the path to your dreams is clearer." Thomas took a deep breath, feeling lighter than he had in years. The fear that had weighed him down for so long was still there, but it no longer controlled him. He had faced it, and now he was ready to move forward. The guardian stepped forward and handed him his wish stone. It glowed with a new, brighter light, as if it had been transformed. "This stone will guide you on the rest of your journey," she said. "But remember, the path ahead will not always be easy. You will face challenges, but as long as you hold on to the courage you've found, you will succeed." Thomas nodded, feeling a surge of determination. He looked up at the tree, its branches swaying gently in the breeze, and knew that his journey was far from over. There were still many dreams to chase, many adventures waiting for him beyond the horizon. As Thomas turned to leave, the guardian called after him. "One last thing, Thomas," she said, her voice soft but full of meaning. "Your journey will lead you to another tree, one unlike any you've seen before. But beware, for not all trees grant wishes. Some take him away." Thomas paused, his heart racing once more. Another tree, A tree that could take wishes away. What did that mean? The guardian's words lingered in the air as Thomas set off once again, his mind buzzing with questions. He didn't know what lay ahead, but he knew one thing for certain. His journey was far from over. Thomas has faced his fears and found his courage, but his journey is only beginning. What will he discover as he continues down the path? And what is this mysterious tree that could take wishes away? Join me for the next part of the story to uncover the truth.